everyone, and welcome to episode number 230 of the Karen Knits podcast. My name is Karen, and I'm coming to you from South Central Pennsylvania, where I live, where I work, where I knit and sometimes crochet and get into all kinds of crafting shenanigans. I'm so happy to have you here with me today. It is Saturday, October 26th, 2024, and it's a gorgeous morning out here. I am filming this early. It's only 8:30 in the morning. Is everyone surprised? I'm usually filming this about 6 or 8 hours later in the day. I have tons of things going on later today, and I'm not going to have time to film other than right now. So it's a gorgeous morning out. It's bright and sunny. Although a lot of the sun's coming in this way, this side of my face appears, I think, is kind of shaded. One day I will get lighting so that I'm a little bit more balanced. Yeah, like I'm ever balanced. Anyway, if you're a new viewer, thank you so much for coming by and checking out my channel. I'm so happy to have you here with me, and I hope you enjoy it. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back for another week to see what kind of nonsense I've been up to. This past month I have been doing Vlogtober. So I've been vlogging things every single day. Some of those days have been pretty quiet and boring, and I haven't done much of anything other than sit like a couch potato or go to work and come home, and some days there's not much to see or not much that I'm doing, but I'm still enjoying the process of filming every single day. I'm finally catching up on some rest, although there are a bunch of things going on with my husband's work right now that are kind of eating into our time and kind of turning a few things upside down, but that's another story for another time and not for here. So, what was I going to say? My train of thought's already gone. Oh boy. Not a good sign, people. Not a good sign. So it has been a really hectic, busy week. Like I say, if you've been following my Vlogtober, you know that I've been run a little bit ragged this past week. So I have caught up on a lot of rest the last few days, and I'm feeling a little bit more relaxed. And later today, or later this morning, we're heading down to Frederick, Maryland for the Frederick Fiber Festival, and I'm excited for that. It's always such a nice, I've been several years in a row now. I've gone, I think, the last 3 or 4, this will be the last 3rd or 4th time in October I've gone. I've gone to, I think I made it to 1 or 2 of the ones in the spring that they also have. It's always just a really nice fiber show. And I'm hoping to maybe buy a couple skeins of yarn. We'll see. There typically seems to be a few people there that have the 50-gram skeins of yarn, which, as you know, I love for my sort of shorty socks. So I'm kind of hoping I can find a few dyers that have 50-gram skeins. I know there's one that I've seen her posting on Facebook, Rising Tide. She will be there, and she typically always has some of the 50-gram skeins. So I'll probably get another skein of her yarn. I have a few of hers now. One skein I've used up. The others are, I think I have 2 more skeins that are patiently waiting for me to get around to using them. And I'll probably bring another one home today. And I have an advent calendar of hers coming in soon. You may or may not notice I like her yarn. So I'm also going to see if there's anyone else that have 50-gram skeins of sock yarn. So what have I been up to knitting wise? I haven't done any crochet this week. I have to get back on that. I have those little blankets that I want to make for my friend's 2 little girls plus the 3rd little girl that's on the way. So I need to get back on those because I'd like to get those to her. I'd like to get the 2 for sure for the 2 of the girls. I'd like to get them to her before Christmas. And the 3rd one, the baby is due in February, so I have a little bit extra time for that one. But basically this week I've been working on socks and the Stephen West Mystery Shawl. So, one thing that I've finished but not quite finished are my Christmas socks. Now these I did 2 at a time, toe up, sort of shorty socks. And this is to show you that 2 halves do not always make a whole. I have done these 2 at a time. I'm doing, where does that look wonky? Is that right? Oh boy, sorry. My brain is just kind of going this morning. Anywho, I'm losing the wrestling match with the sock blockers this morning. So these are going to be 2 pair of socks eventually, hopefully within the month. And they're both done in West Yorkshire Spinners yarn. This one is done in the colorway Candy Cane, and this one is done in the colorway Robin. I did them 2 at a time, toe up, sort of shorty, and what I'm going to do is, now that these 2 are done, I'm ready to cast on and do a second Candy Cane and a second Robin, so that I will have 2 pair of socks eventually. So this one I could have done this one 2 at a time from opposite ends of the ball, because it wouldn't have made a difference with this colorway. This one, I want the colors to go in the same sequence on this one. So this one I wanted to do separate, and then do a second one continuing from the same end of the yarn. One thing I will say is, next time I do these, I will do them a little, next time I do this type of sock, I'm going to do it differently. I wasn't thinking this through completely. I should have, as I've seen other people do, when I get to the heel, take from the opposite end of the yarn, so that I don't end up with something going a little bit wonky at the ankle. If I had done the heel turn and heel flap from the opposite end of the yarn, it wouldn't have mattered if the color stripes would have been okay, and I would have maintained the color sequence, and I would have maintained the look of this. So as you can see here, I'm missing the white stripe between the red and green here. It's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world for me. I'm okay with it, but in the future, I do want to make sure I do the heel from the opposite end, so that I maintain the color sequence this way. I should have probably done it that way when I was knitting them. I didn't think of it until I was done the heel flap and starting to go back on the leg again. And then I figured out, oops, and I wasn't about to undo the heel turn and heel flap and redo it. But not that big a deal. I can live with it. I can live with all kinds of wonky things with socks. I'm not that fussy. What I have also done with the yarn is, now that I've got this one done, I have gone back and I have pulled out a little bit of the yarn so that I can restart it with the red on the toe. I've done a little bit with the last round and a half, and the bind off were in the red. There won't be enough red to do other than just a tiny blip, so I pulled the red, white, green, and the next batch of white off the ball as I had it right now. And now when I'm ready to start the second sock, I'm ready to start. I have it lined up, so I'm ready to start with the red, so that the socks will be, they might not be precisely matched, but they should be fairly close, so that I have it going from red to green, red, green, and so on. And the same with this one, where I finished with the red. I have pulled the yarn so that I'm up to this point here. So I pulled off this much of the yarn from the skein, and I'm ready to start with this little color just before the tan, so that these ones, the second sock in this one will look very similar to the first one. It won't be that big a deal if I don't have it exactly, but I'd like them for once. Typically, as you know, typically I don't give a hoot whether they match perfectly. As you can tell, I've made quite a few mismatched socks. I know it drives some of you bonkers. I'm sorry about that. But it doesn't bother me at all. I'm perfectly fine with mismatched socks. I'm weird that way. But that's just the way my little squirrely brain works. I'm just drinking water now. I've just finished a cup of tea and don't really feel like more. And I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning. I woke up just before 4, couldn't fall back asleep. So I figured I may as well get up, let the hubby finish his sleeping, and no use both of us being up. We don't both need to be up. So I've been up for over 4 hours already. So it's gonna be a long day. But anyway, so the other project I've been working on fairly consistently this week is my Go-Go Dynamo shawl, which is the mystery shawl knit-along pattern from Stephen West that is running in the month of October this year. And Clue 4 came out on Thursday morning, and I was ready to start Clue 3 on Thursday morning. So I am behind. And I've never been able to finish one of his shawls during the actual time period that it runs. And I'm fine with that too. I'm not gonna let that stress me out. There's enough other things in life that can cause stress. My knitting does not need to be one of those things. I do not need to have stress from knitting, or I do not need my knitting to create stress for me. I knit for fun and relaxation, and to get both to do the knitting and get the final product when it's done. So I'm partway through clue number 3 right now. I'm hoping I can get it finished fairly soon. I'm settling into a good rhythm with it now. The first few repeats took me a little bit to get into the rhythm of it. Now I'm settled into a good rhythm with it. And I think I'm able to start picking up a little bit of speed as I do each of the little wedge things. So if you're still working on this and you don't want to see any spoilers, you're not going to see anything about Clue 4. I've glanced at Clue 4. I know what direction it's going, but I have not a clue what it's going to look like. I have not looked at spoiler pictures. I have not looked at the video that Stephen West put out for clue number 4. I haven't looked at that yet. I might look at it soon, because now I'm starting to get a little bit curious, and I'm also worried that I'm going to start accidentally seeing spoilers soon when I don't necessarily want to see them yet. So if you want the surprise to remain a surprise, I'm going to put a little spoiler alert notice on the screen, and I'll let you know when it's safe, because I will be showing the fabric in just a moment. I'll let you know when it's safe to come back after I start showing the fabric. So in case you don't want the surprise or the mystery spoiled quite yet. like I say, I'm behind, so chances are you've probably already seen what Clue 3 looks like already, because I'm behind. So without further ado, I am going to show you the fabric in just a second. So if you don't want to see a spoiler, look away now. Alrighty, so if you're still here, you don't care if you see the spoilers. So I'm partway, just a little bit of the way through Clue 4. Let me just get this in a way that I can show it to you and not have stitches fall off my needles. So as I said last week, if the stitches fall off my needles, I might cry. I probably would cry. I'm just gonna plunk that on the end here just as a stopper. So, oops, that's the wrong side. Let's show you the right side of this. So here's where I am now. And as I said, I'm still loving my color combination. So here's Clue 3, which includes the brioche section, the bubbles, another brioche section, and then more bubbles. So those 4 parts are Clue 2. Did I say Clue 3 before? If I did, I had that wrong. And Clue 3 so far, this is what I have so far. I have 6 little wedges done. I'm ready to go back to the gray. So, like I say, I'm getting into the rhythm of doing these little wedges. I think they look neat. And I'm actually kind of enjoying the technique. I have woven all my ends up to this point except for one. When I ended this one pink thread at the end of Clue 2, I have not wove that one in. I am, Karen, don't you fall off there. I am carrying, sorry, I'm just trying to be very careful so I don't drop this and have to cry. So here's what the back side of it looks like with the pink on the back side of the brioche. But I've tucked in all my ends. I have not snipped them overly short yet on the beginning part. I've left a little bit of a tail on each of them. It's woven in, but I like to leave a little bit of extra so that when I block it, it has some room to, the tail has a little bit of wiggle room. And then once I finish blocking it, then I'll go back and I will snip the ends just a little bit closer to the fabric. I'm carrying the gray, my main color is the gray. I'm carrying that along when I get to each of the pink sections, so I'm just carrying that along. So I'm showing you the back side. I'm carrying that along underneath the I-cord. The pink, I am doing the weave and steven method, and I'm tucking in, or I'm doing that at the beginning of the pink section and the end of every pink section. So I haven't snipped those ends at all. Again, I'm going to wait until I'm ready to block it. I might decide after the fact to go back and weave it in just a little bit more. Probably not, but I might. So the ends have not been completely snipped, but I do have pretty much all of the ends are woven in. This is all I have left of the first of the gray skein right now. And I have a little bit more of the pink. And this morning, if you're looking away, it's safe to look back now. But this morning I wound up the second skein, each of the pink and gray, into a cake. So they're ready to begin using them as soon as I run out of the first skein of pink and gray. So, and so far, like I say, I'm really enjoying this pattern. I'm very curious to see what Clue 4 brings me. I might, excuse me, I might look at some of the spoiler threads later today or tomorrow. I'll see how much of clue 3 I can get done. I think once I'm more than halfway through clue 3, I'll be getting curious to see what clue 4 looks like. Because I have also seen that they've opened up a thread in the Ravelry group for finished object pictures. So I'm sure that there's going to be some of these finished projects are going to start popping up sooner rather than later, and I don't want it to be accidentally spoiled. If I'm going to have it spoiled, I want to be the one that does the spoiling, not have someone else spoil it for me by mistake. So that's the plan for that. So my plans for knitting this upcoming week: continue with my Go-Go Dynamo shawl and get my second Candy Cane and Robin sock begun so I can get going with that one as well. We are going to be going to the church this afternoon, and we're showing a movie just for, I still don't remember which movie it is. I think I mentioned it in one of my vlogs. I still don't remember what the movie is. So we're going to be watching that at church this afternoon. So I'm going to take some knitting. It won't be extra dark, so I'll be able to get some work done. I'll see once we get going whether I'll work on socks or shawl. I'm taking both with me. I'll decide which one I'm doing when the time gets there. And like I say, we're going to the Fiber Festival in a while. I think I'm going to go, once I get the editing going on this, I'm going to go and start making some noises down the other end of the apartment so that the hubby starts to wake up if he's not already awake. It's getting on almost 9 o'clock now. The Fiber Fest opens in 5 minutes. And we have to be back at the church before 2. So we don't have a ton of time to dawdle. So that's the plan. Fiber Festival this morning, movie at the church this afternoon where I will do some more knitting. We'll probably watch some kind of movie at home this evening, so I'll get more knitting done this evening. And we'll take it from there. But I'm hoping to, by the time I see you next week, I don't think I'll have the shawl done. I'd be very surprised if I have it done. I definitely want to have clue 3 complete and clue 4 underway. And like I say, I have not looked at the clues, so I don't know if I'm going to make it larger or if I'm just going to stop after the first part of clue 4. I'll see how much yarn I have left, and I'll see what the size and shape looks like at that point, whether I want to have it even bigger. Because I don't mind a large shawl. Because as we noticed, I'm not a dainty person, so a large shawl works for me. And other than that, not much else is new. There's not really anything to tell you about because I talk to you every day with my vlogs. So I will be showing you when the vlog goes live tomorrow morning. I'm planning on filming a bunch of stuff at the Fiber Festival, so I will share that with you in the vlog tomorrow, or when I show it to you, show you the vlog tomorrow, and show you what I did buy. I probably will be showing a fair bit of restraint because I do have a boatload of yarn already. I have no business buying much more yarn. Oh, and my advent calendar arrived a couple days ago. I haven't opened the shipping box because I don't know what the inside is like. You know what I mean? So I requested that the ones I ordered, I think I paid the premium on it to have each of the days individually wrapped. So I'm thinking I'm not going to open the shipping box until December. I think I will hold off and not touch it or do anything with it until it's time to start opening things. So that's just sitting there patiently waiting for me. And I also have some other yarn coming in. Well, my other Advent yarn and another skein of yarn I bought from somebody or got from somebody on Ravelry is going to be leaving her place on Monday. So that'll be something else. I'll tell you all about that once it arrives. Hopefully it'll be here by the end of next week so I can show you the book. This is something I'm really excited about. So I think that's it. I think I'll shut up now. And I will go get this editing done and get ready to go to the Fiber Festival. Alrighty, thank you so much for joining me today. Take care, and I will see you again soon. Bye, everyone.